This is chess, but every 3 moves pieces evolve to a new piece. Each piece has a bunch of pieces it evolves to, and in this video I will show you all of them. The pieces get stronger and stronger as the evolution goes on, so get ready. Let's start off with the pawn's evolutions. So you moved your pawn 3 times and now it's time for it to evolve. And it's going to evolve to a piece called Mega Pawn, which is like a supercharged version of the normal pawn, because it moves and takes both forwards and diagonally. Alright, the pawn has only 1 evolution, so let's go to the knight's evolutions. So after the first 3 moves, the knight will evolve into a camel, which is a pretty well-known fairy chess piece that moves in a 3x1L. It's barely stronger than the knight, but don't worry, just make 3 moves with said camel and you now have a double knight instead. Okay, now double knight is a very powerful piece. It shouldn't be possible to acquire it after only 6 moves. Just look at moves like a knight, but twice in the same direction. That's literally insane. Look how much of the board you cover with this piece. Alright, the next knight evolution is just making it grow a horn. It turns into a unicorn, which literally just looks like our knight with a horn. But anyways, its movement is kind of interesting, as it starts with a normal knight movement, and then from those squares it moves like a bishop in the same direction as the knight movement, which in result gives you something like this. I'll admit, it's real strong. You can hop above other pieces with knight part, and you have a whole diagonal covered. The next evolution is more powerful though. Take a look at this. So this next piece would be really powerful on a bigger board, but on this one it's pretty good too, because here's how it moves. It makes the knight move, then it makes another knight move, although not in the same direction. It rotates slightly right, after that it does this again, slightly rotating right as well, and then it repeats this action up until it makes a full circle. Also, it doesn't just stop on one circle, it does the same thing all around itself, making it an insanely overpowered piece if the board is big enough. But on an 8x8 board its movement looks more like this. So not so overpowered anymore. That being said, I think it's time I reveal that this piece's name is the Rose, and it looks like a rose as well. Alright, let's check the rose off of our list. Nice, we got all of the knight's evolutions done. Next we have the bishop and his evolutions, and there are a lot of interesting and new pieces hiding over there. For example, the bishop's first evolution, the checker bishop. Okay, so you guys probably have an idea of what this piece does, because it's all in its name. It basically combines a bishop with a checker, meaning it moves like a bishop would, and when it encounters a piece, it hops over it and continues with the diagonal movement. And of course, if you move to one of these squares, you capture the piece you jumped above, just like in checkers. I feel like it's a balanced evolution. It doesn't upgrade the bishop a whole lot, and that's perfect for the first 3 to 6 moves. Alright, that is all cool, but there are 4 more evolutions to go through for the bishop, so let's waste no more time and go on to the next one. So this is what it looks like, and you're likely wondering, what is this symbol I put on it? And believe it or not, it's a cylinder. But wait, what is this cylinder for? Well, there's this chess variant out there that's called cylinder chess, which is basically chess on a cylinder board. And what's different here is that pieces can go around the board in a cool way, although what's cooler is that you can simulate this variant on a normal board. Pieces just go through the side walls of the board and come out on the other side. And coming back to our new bishop, it moves like the cylinder chess bishop. That's why I put this cylinder on it. Okay, the 4th evolution is called the bomber, and that's because it causes a ton of explosions. But before I tell you about those explosions it makes, you have to know how it moves, and well, it actually just moves like the bishop itself. Okay, now about those explosions I was talking about. It actually makes an explosion every time it captures a piece, and this explosion takes pieces from squares directly next to the bomber, just not those diagonally to it. Okay, that's it, time for the last evolution, and it is actually just 2 previous evolutions combined, cylinder bishop plus the bomber. It moves like cylinder bishop, and makes the bomber's explosion, simple as that. And by the way, here's how it looks. Its drawing also combines the bomber's and cylinder bishop's drawings. Nice, we're done with the bishop, but the rook has 5 more very strong evolutions, and the first one, which is named Chancellor, only adds a knight movement to the original rook. It has this weird drawing where it combines the knight and the rook here on the bottom. Overall, this piece isn't anything special, although get ready, because the second evolution is really cool, as instead of 1 tower we now have a whole castle. And this castle's quite a bit better than the rook, here's why. So starting from the rook's movement, the castle actually removes the horizontal movement, but it makes up for it in a different way. It adds a bishop's movement to the mix, making it a bit better than the rook. Okay, these first 2 evolutions were not that powerful, but trust me, these last 2 pieces will make up for this, and the third one is especially strong. Its name is the Griffin, and this is its drawing. Looking kinda weird, doesn't it? Well, that's because it moves in this weird pattern, where it goes to all diagonally adjacent squares, which is why there's this bishop in the middle. And after that, from all those squares it makes a rook movement, hence those rooks. But this movement is only in directions in which the diagonal movement was made. That's like having 4 rooks on the board, except that they are all in the same place. Nevertheless, the fact that you get that strong of a piece after only 9 moves is sorta mind-blowing. But what's more mind-blowing is the next piece, the Mega Griffon, which has a quite similar movement as the normal Griffin, but stronger and better. So the normal Griffin moves like shown here, and let's remove the rook movements for now. Don't worry, we'll add them back in later, although first we gotta add some modifications. Because the Mega Griffon extends this diagonal movement all the way to 2 squares, just like that, and only now we can add the orthogonal movement, although it's from the squares that are the furthest away from our piece. That's so powerful. Look how much of the board it covers. Yeah, this piece shouldn't be allowed on the board just like that. Okay, now technically we should make the queen's evolutions, but I decided to add 2 more rook's evolutions. One of them will go in between the castle and the griffin, so that players won't get the griffin that early into the game, and so there's a weaker piece before it, and the other piece will go to the end of the whole evolution chain, because yes, it's even more overpowered than the Mega Griffon. Okay, let's start with the first one of the additional 2, the big castle. So because big castle is in between castle and griffin, I had to make it weaker than griffin and stronger than castle, which was actually quite easy, because there's a big difference in these pieces' strength. Anyways, here's how big castle moves. So for this piece I didn't want to overcomplicate things, and for this reason I simply gave it the castle movement, then added the knight movement, and that's how this piece moves. When it comes to how it looks though, I also didn't go over the top, so I just added in a small rook in this center section of the castle, which I think looks good enough. Alright, big castle done. Now let's go on to the actual last piece that the rook evolves to. Remember, it is more powerful than even the Mega Griffon, so buckle up. Okay, so this piece works in a kind of similar way to the previous version of it, except it starts with a normal rook movement, nothing too complicated, just a simple orthogonal movement. Alright, but it doesn't stop there. It only gets stronger from there, because just like the Mega Griffon did, it adds rook movements, but in this case it adds them to the second squares from our piece orthogonally, which in result gives us this monster of a movement. Okay, but you guys still don't know what it looks like or what's its name, and so it's named the Rook Master, and it looks like this, just a rook with a crown. Okay, great, but we gotta keep going. Let's check out the queen's first evolution, although a quick disclaimer here, the following pieces are very strong, so beware of that. Alright, now that you've been warned, let's actually make the first queen evolution, and it's a piece that some of you probably know about. It moves like a queen and a knight combined, making it a very powerful piece considering you only have to make 3 moves to get it. Anyways, this piece is called the Amazon, and it looks like a knight with a queen as its cap. Great, the Amazon's done, meaning we can go to the next piece, and so this piece utilizes Amazon's movement plus the camel's movement. And I hope you guys remember the camel piece from earlier in this video. So yeah, that's how it all looks on the board. And looking at this, maybe some of you guys remember that this is actually the Mega Queen from a different video of mine. Yet another piece with Mega in its name. I know I got something going on with these names. Alright guys, it's time for the next piece, which makes an Amazon movement, which you could probably deduce looking at the blacked out image of it, although this movement is a little modified, and you'll know how once you'll see exactly how it looks. So here it is. Do you recognize this little thing? Yeah, that's right, it's a cylinder, and this piece moves like an Amazon that is on a cylinder board, and because of that its name is Cylinder Amazon. And that was the last evolution for the queen. Now get ready for the king's evolutions. There's only 2 of them, so let's waste no more time. And start off with the emperor. This is very fitting actually, as the emperor is a rank higher than the king. But anyways, this is how it moves. I guess you could compare it to a star or something. Okay guys, and the last piece of this chess variant is the double king, which looks simply like kings, and has a very simple movement, cause like the name would suggest, it does double the king's movement. I mean twice as far. Here is this movement. And that all being said, we finished making this variant, which I'll call Evolution Chess from now on. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos of mine, and see you in the next one hopefully. Goodbye.